Good afternoon, folks. Hope you're doing well. So I'm here with you. Yep, I am live. Okay. Happy to be here with you, LinkedIn. This is mainly for my LinkedIn audience. And because I've just done two articles recently on branding on LinkedIn, and I've kind of got a good buzz going, I really feel it's important for me to kind of talk about it as well. Okay, which is why I'm here on live. This will be a maximum of a short 15-minute conversation. Some of the stuff that I've been writing about in my last two newsletters, which you can find on my profile, Social Media Marketing for You. And those of you who don't know, it's only literally 4 weeks old. Healthy Secrets is my new health and fitness brand. And I think one of the key points, and I'll go straight into it, that is able to brand, get good awareness, and I produce a lot of content during the day, by the way, across my social media channels, is because I've built up good thought leadership and I've got a heavy digital footprint. I still have to produce a lot of content, but as stated in the newsletter, I think one of the good things, and certainly brand building on LinkedIn particularly, that you have to do is leverage every single feature that the platform has. And this is so important because when I look at LinkedIn now, and same kind of principles as did 5 years ago, as a former business studies teacher, when you design a classroom, you always give out handouts to your students, or you used to anyway. A lot of it is digital learning now, but LinkedIn I kind of use in the same format. But instead of giving me handouts, what I do basically is I use each of my company and different other digital stuff I've got going on, newsletters, as well as the LinkedIn groups. You can access over 100 groups, by the way, or 100, that's the maximum, is sharing and producing articles, videos to the max and using every single experimentation to make sure that I leverage the brand. Because a lot of people that I've watched Gary kind of religiously over the years are either scared to post content or they're lacking creativity, which is also the CEO of LinkedIn said, uh, Ryan Valensky, I believe his name is, might have gotten his name wrong, but going back to the point of branding on LinkedIn, for me personally, it always starts with what features, okay, in particular, does LinkedIn have where my content strategy, so my strength, okay, I'm pretty good at videos. Actually, I'm getting really good at videos, if you don't mind me asking, make me saying. I'm good at writing, okay, even before generative AI came out. So for me personally, I've got a full leverage. Now, podcasting and audio is slightly different. And I what I tend to find with LinkedIn Live, like particularly today, and also previously, is that I do myself prefer to go random live. For the simple reason is that I'm very aware I'm not actually selling physical or services on LinkedIn, even though some stuff is advertised, but there's still, like, Learning for You is AI consultancy, but it's still in its infancy. With Healthy Secrets is a health and fitness brand aimed at Generation Z that sits. My thought leadership is on LinkedIn, but my monetization is on TikTok. So I think the way that I've marketed it, branded it, especially on LinkedIn, and you'll see above my profile, you've got follow, subscribe, because I'm really trying to push out on all my social media channels. And that's important for me because I feel I'm giving my brand the best chance. This is why I say to people in the article, and I highly recommend you read it. It got good feedback. I always look to see what new features and what current features are being used on LinkedIn and what are they releasing. Now, the newsletter thing is a focus simply because it in one side it's really it's a good strength for thought leadership, but they are putting new features on it which are slightly better. I wouldn't say there's loads of features and there's loads of stuff you can do with it. I think it's really about how authentic do you want your brand to be, and what kind of image do you want to create? And at the moment, what I'm doing, this is part of a new series, Branding on LinkedIn, because what I'm doing is I'm documenting my journey, and I'm also rewriting an academic marketing book. I'm going through each marketing principle that was taught years ago and it's still taught today. I'm not saying you're going to be a whiz at marketing by going to university, but I think sometimes in relation to brand building, whatever social media platform you're going on, a lot of people say start on one platform. That's what I did, but I was thought leadership first, and now I'm turning it around. So I got my thought leadership, and now I'm going to flip the coin, and now I'm going to brand building. And for me, it's interesting because still to this day, I mean, social media marketing is a big it's a big fish, right? It's always changing. The features always change. The algorithms always change. And somebody that's gone viral a lot in the last couple of years on LinkedIn previously and TikTok, and now it's even harder because more people are on the platform. The bandwidth is lower, which means that when you produce content, it won't get as many views. Now, I've been looking at TikTok creators, and I'm a creator myself because I want to be in the mud, and I want to, you know, understand what features work, but also my brand principles, which is not rocket science. But believe it or not, sometimes you can't always leverage your brand according to the features of each platform. But what I do like about LinkedIn is the newsletter because, and it's quite a good funnel system because you're only going to be able to get the followers that like that interest from your own follower feed. So what I mean, like, for example, now I've only got a humble 13,000 followers, okay, but I always say to people, it doesn't matter how many followers you have, it's the impact you have as a brand, right? And where I've got leverage on LinkedIn because the world's biggest companies are used to, it's different now, but a lot of brands know who I am because I gave out a lot of thought leadership over a couple of years. I shared articles and now I write my own stuff, but now I'm brand building myself. So specifically for Healthy Secrets, so it changes slightly. I'm still going to do my newsletters because I think every single day I learn something new on social media, whether it's, YouTube is not my forte at the moment. I'll crack it one day, but at the moment I'm focused on LinkedIn and TikTok and some other like Instagram and Facebook are merging that across. So I'm only one man, so really Healthy Secrets is a startup, but I'm able to create the presence of a global brand because I know on average I will be truthful with you now. I would say in the region of about 150 to 200 pieces of content I produce on a weekly basis. And I'm not up until, well, yeah, I do go to bed late, but I'm not on it 24/7. Okay. And when I say post, what I mean is that you can have the same post but post it in a different part on social media. So I say that, I mean, I'm probably, it might be slightly less than that, but ballpark figure, I don't sit down and aim, I'm going to do 50 posts today. I just go with different content strategies every day, but you get a feel of it. When you're a content creator or somebody that loves their brand and you find ways to express yourself, and I think that's the fundamental problem that big brands have, that medium-sized and even small businesses and startups like myself, we have a lot of leverage because, you know, I've been talking about this a little bit, and I might need to write an article on this. A social artist, okay, as in social media artist, is someone that likes to do different things, express themselves, and say, you know what, I want to create this image, this post, not because I want to get um, fame for it. You're brand building, but you're doing it in a different way because you're buying into your brand attributes. And me, one of them is educational, authenticity, honesty, because I'm a former teacher, and I'm really, that's all I'm doing really is I'm putting my classroom experience on LinkedIn, as it were. So my brand building is very unique, but I'm writing my newsletters as educational format so that other people can understand and follow my footprint change it and adapt it, because when I was a former business teacher and in the teaching game, we always used to share good practice. And I still see it today on a lot of brands on LinkedIn where they specifically just use LinkedIn as a company announcement. I know Microsoft are big, one of the world's biggest brands, but it'd be nice to get some, you know, different flavors. And I think that's what I enjoy. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't get a lot of engagement apart from my newsletters. I don't mind that because, like yesterday or 2 days ago, I can't remember now. I go to the gym more or less every day ish at the moment because I'm doing a lot of filming for my new series, which is what I'm going to be selling on TikTok. That's my business model because it's Healthy Secrets, health and fitness brand. And where I've got leverage on TikTok, I know the algorithm. I've gone viral a lot before. It's more difficult now, but I'm trying to sell my courses at scale to the global market. Can I do that? Yes. When would I do that? I don't know, but I'm going to try because I have the expertise. I'll give you a little bit of backstory. I know I'm going a bit fast here, but I'm trying to cram as much information in 15 minutes as possible. So, yes, I'm a former teacher, but I'm a qualified personal trainer. I'm an ex-British Army reservist. I'm a qualified support worker, and I'm also retraining long term as a counsellor on top of my business to give me the extra edge. So I know that my expertise plays out right. Now it's a case of putting that into a content strategy for my actual courses, but also the promotion. Now it's more difficult for me to sell those courses on LinkedIn because I'm going after Generation Z because the data says, you know, it's just easier. Whereas I think when you're trying to sell courses, particularly on LinkedIn, it's more you're going to the global office. There's more competition, and you've also got the biggest competitor, which is LinkedIn Learning. So, and I'm not saying LinkedIn Learning are not great because I've done a lot of learning on the platform, and it's been fantastic for my own personal professional development. But in terms of brand building, my monetization sits on TikTok, as stated before, and then my thought leadership sits on LinkedIn, if that makes sense. So I'll try to summarize a few points if I can remember. Brand building to me, and this is part one, and each week I'll try to give you a new episode around some of the best principles and practices that I feel that you can use on LinkedIn that I'm using at the moment. I'm not saying I've got all the answers, but I like sharing good practice. And Healthy Secrets is literally only 4 weeks old. I am one person. I've got access to some software, not a lot. My marketing budget is very low. It's small. It's tiny. Okay, but pretty much like the SAS, I'm able to do something and create the impacts that of 10, 20 people because it's not just generative AI. Because I know the platform and I've spent time on it, it's not, I'm not saying I know exactly how to build brand, but what I am saying is I leverage LinkedIn as much as possible, particularly with the newsletters, as stated before, and other features. And the number one thing that's always paid good for me, dividends, is not not being scared to post. I mean, I post like you wouldn't believe, and I tag anybody. I don't tag a lot of companies these days. I'm quite specific now. But in the old days, I was tagging the FBI. I wouldn't care because, you know, I think that's so interesting about me is that I'm willing to get into a little bit of trouble in order to build my brand. Now, I don't lie because that's my faith. But what I am saying is experiment and be a little bit naughty because I see this very regimental system here on LinkedIn where a lot of people are posting, making company announcements. We are excited to announce we are going to do this. And it's like, really? And there isn't any flavor. And I've been looking at the world's biggest sport brands recently. I've looked at Nike, Adidas, and I look at their company profile and I think to myself, the image they have on their company profile, as in the LinkedIn post content, and the experiences you as a consumer don't match. So I know they make very good revenue. You've got Nike, the world's biggest sports brand, then you've got Puma, and then you've got Adidas, or Adidas first, then Puma. And I made a very soft, punchy announcement the other day that I'm gonna Healthy Secrets is gonna go against them, right? But it's a bold statement. But I wanted to just, I'm not scared of doing a little sleek advertising and saying, you know what, we're gonna push through on it because you never know. Because I know that studying the algorithm for as long as I have on TikTok particularly and LinkedIn as well, is that as Gary Vee says, you're only one TikTok away, but I'm doing something extra special where I'm trying to get maybe, for instance, 1 billion views on one post. It is possible. It's been done before. And viral marketing is something I do specialize in, but it takes time and it works in cycles, if you ask me. So anyway, I'll give you some extra, a little bit there towards the end about viral marketing a little bit and some of the tricks that I'm using currently. So I hope you enjoyed this live talk. I'll go again next week for part 2. I think I'll just do one LinkedIn live talk per week because I've noticed that you're very sensitive about people going live because it comes up on your phone and you get bored of the same person coming up. So I'm going to have to switch things around a bit because everybody's going live at the moment, and really I don't like regimental structure and routine. I'm not a fan of it. It's just the way I roll. It works better for my mental fitness up here. So you'd think the opposite, that routine is good for us, but in actual fact, I believe differently. I think mixing it up, changing it, taking risks is the best way forward, especially for your brand strategy. So anyway, if you want more details around everything I've spoken about, please check out my articles. They're available now. There's 2 I've written recently that touched upon branding on LinkedIn, and every single day, hopefully, if I can, I'll write a new feature because it's going to take me a year to get through this book. And as I'm building my brand, Healthy Secrets, I'll be able to talk in point specific details. So any students as well, you'll find it useful because there'll be some really good, important keywords in there for you to understand that you might currently be using on your degree course, or any marketers, social media managers, CEOs, founders, everybody on LinkedIn that needs to do marketing. We're all there to do something. Anyway, folks, I've spoken enough. I've broken my rule. I've gone over 15 minutes. That's very naughty of me. I shall never do it again. Just kidding. But anyway, I'm going to try to keep my live talks down to less than 15 minutes because the science is that we lose concentration after that. That's not saying you can't watch a long, good video, but for me, I want to rest my voice and be fit and healthy. Hence, Healthy Secrets. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a smashing afternoon. Those of you who are in America, 4 weeks, 4 weeks. I'll get it right in a minute. 4 hours behind me. So anyway, I should say sayonara, adios, ciao, and I'll see you next week live. Do connect with me and follow me for more insights on social media marketing. Also, my other newsletter, Empathy Leadership Magazine, which I'm trying to grow on the #1 leadership skill, empathy, and my thoughts around that, which is basically my core research, the relationship between emotional intelligence and mental well-being, which I've been looking at for 5 years independently. Right, that's it. I'm going to turn off now, guys, and I shall see you next week, hopefully. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye for now.